So we're going to do a nice relaxing practice today for our Mother's Day week. And this was inspired by my teacher, T.S., that I did my training with. And he brought up this whole concept one of the days of our training called protecting the essential self. And so for him, it's not only about the poses. He loves to bring in these kind of spiritual concepts and things like that, which I love about him. So he gave us this Sanskrit, I guess you could call it a Sanskrit phrase, Atmanam Satatam Rakshet. Atmanam Satatam Rakshet. And what it means is the essential self should always be protected. And then he goes on to say, it is always important to protect the essential nature known as the true self. This is a fundamental principle behind yoga, that our life force is sacred and that it is meant to be cherished and strengthened. The phrase above suggests the importance of safeguarding our fundamental health and vitality. The word Atman, the first part of that phrase, refers to the soul or the spirit of a person. And it includes our subtle body, our spiritual body, and our emotional body. And then the word satatam means constant or perpetual. So always being protected. Just going to mute everybody. Chris made it. Okay, so yeah. So satata means always or perpetual. And then raksha means to protect or defend. The saying suggests that the soft, tender side of a being should always be safeguarded. That is, the regulator must itself be protected. In the spiritual context, it can be read that the Atman, the soul or the spirit, will do everything it can to preserve the life force. And so how does that translate into a yoga practice? So he said that our nervous system is one of the things that serves to protect us. So if we touch something hot, it's our nervous system that tells us to get away. If there's danger, it tells us to flee or protect ourselves. So the nervous system is a big part of it. And then in Chinese medicine, we talk about something called the Wei Qi. So Qi is another word for life force energy, kind of ties in with this. And the Wei Qi is like a force field that goes around the body. During the day, it's like the surface of our skin. It's like a barrier that helps keep invaders out. And at night, the Wei Qi goes deep into our body to nourish our organs. So it's all pretty cool. So we're going to work on a practice that just kind of fosters this sense of safety and calm, nourishment, protection. So we're going to start on our bellies, and you can just stack up your arms, put your forehead on your arms in crocodile pose. And this is a really nice one for just kind of starting to feel that feeling of safety and calm. We're going to take a few minutes here on the belly just to sit, to be here and breathe. And of course, our nervous system responds to conscious breathing. So if we're in danger, we're certainly not going to be able to slow down and say, focus on our breathing and really calm ourselves down. We're going to be too busy fighting off whatever it is we're fighting off. So when we have conscious breath, the nervous system recognizes that as we're safe right now, because if we weren't safe, we wouldn't be focusing on our breath. So go ahead and settle in, let your body drop into the ground, and we'll take a few more moments here. So often that deep life force is violated, neglected, or depleted by lifestyle or events that happen, trauma, or when children are not cared for and protected, symptoms of trauma can appear there. And that can lead to feeling unsafe, feeling a threat, and the nervous system will do all it can to protect the vital essence. When there's been a violation of the essential self, then repair work is necessary to heal ruptured boundaries. So we'll take about 3 more breath cycles here in our crocodile pose. And then from your crocodile pose, you're going to slide your hands back, press up into tabletop pose. And then once you're in your tabletop pose, we're just going to take a few nice circles of the hips. It's nice and soothing and gentle into the joints. So working with joints can give a sense of nourishment to the body. Go the other direction. And then back to center. And then we'll come back to child's pose from there. So we're going to hold our child's pose now for about a minute. So we're taking these different postures that have this sense of, really protection, calming, and just breathing here. So joints, we'll work a little bit into joints today. I remember when my kids were little, both of them had some sensory things going on. My son's on the spectrum, but one of the things they had us do was joint compression. Joint compression can help calm the nervous system. So it's kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, but we would take two ends of like his arm and kind of press the joint in and out and in and out. And it just gave the body a sense of safety, protection, knowing where you are in space. So proprioception. So we're going to take about 3 more breaths in our child's pose. Breathing into your back body. And then after your 3rd breath, we're going to go ahead and come back up into tabletop pose and just take your time. So we're going to do a couple different variations here of child's pose. Let's take some cat-cows before we do that. So inhale and exhale, rounding your spine. Inhale, looking up, lift your sit bones, lift your gaze. Exhale, round. Go ahead, let's do 3 more cycles. And I encourage you to move slowly in your practice today. As we've talked about before, slowness also helps the nervous system feel safe. Obviously, if we're running and we're in a fight, flight, freeze state, that's not going to feel so safe. Last round. And then back to table, separate your knees and come back to child's pose again. Pausing there. We're going to take this into a child's pose side bend. So walk yourself over towards your right leg and you're going to kind of reach through your left arm. Your right hand could either go under your forehead or you could slide it to the side and let your forehead drop to the ground. So it depends on your body length, whether or not your forehead can reach the ground here. So don't worry if it doesn't. You can stick your hand under your head, or you could also pull in a block or a pillow. Now, as you're holding there and you're reaching through your left arm, pull your left sit bone back away from the arm and let your arm start to dip toward the outer shoulder. You get a little extra juicy stretch out of that. Hold here 1 more breath. And then we're going to walk it back to the center and over to the other side. So now right arm reaches on a diagonal to the left. And you could either put your other hand, your left hand under your forehead, or let your head come to the ground. So it all depends on your body proportions, what feels good. I want you to just stick today with what feels good. Don't push so hard. So we stay in that sense of feeling safe. And hold it here. Let's do 2 more breaths. After your 2nd breath, let's go ahead and walk it back to the center. And then we'll come back up into tabletop pose again. Okay, so this time, let's see if we can lift our right knee out to the side, like a fire hydrant. And then we're gonna circle that knee around. So we get into that joint of the hip. So just circle it nice and gentle 3 times, and then reverse, go the other way. And after that 3rd round, go ahead and switch sides. If you need a break at any time, you can come to your child's pose, 3 circles in both directions. And doing your best not to lean into your opposite hip too much. 3 times in the other direction, going slowly. And after you finish, again, let's come back to child's pose. And again, you might rest your forehead on your hands or have your arms alongside of you or even in front of you, any version that you like. Okay, so next inhale, let's go ahead, come back up in the tabletop. I'm gonna do some more work on hands and knees, but I wanna get you off the knees for a little bit. So let's go ahead, lift up to a down dog and just pedal it out a little bit. Bend one knee, then the other. Maybe shake your head out. Again, nice slow fluid movement. If you have a blanket and it's slippery, you could take it out, but I'm gonna leave mine there because we're gonna come back to our knees in a moment. All right, drop down onto the knees. Let's come onto the belly again. So a lot of close to the ground work to start out. This time we're coming into Sphinx posture, propping up on your forearms, lifting your chest, and let's pull your hands toward your body and pull your chest forward, gazing slightly forward. And we're gonna hold here for about 3 more breaths. Let your face be soft, shoulders relaxed. After that 3rd breath, go ahead and slide your right knee out to the side. Good, and then from here, we're gonna take that left arm and slide it under the right, and then put your hand under your head or grab your pillow. So if you have the pillow nearby, you could do that instead of your hand. So it's like thread the needle, but we're on our bellies here. And then you can either stay there with that right arm in front of you, or you could wrap it around your back. Yep. Or you can start to roll your chest toward the ceiling and come into a deeper twist. And then let that top shoulder kind of drop toward the back body. So I'm just giving you options. If anything's too much, you just back out. Next option, you might straighten that right leg and you might be able to catch your foot with your hand, but don't force it. I'm just breathing here. Let's take another moment. Notice what you're feeling. Maybe in and around your chest, your shoulders, your back. And then we're going to release back to the center. And we're going to come back into our Sphinx posture. And we're going to hold here for a few more breaths before we do the other side. So anytime we're close to the ground, belly down, these are places that help us feel a little more grounded, a little calmer. And when it comes to protection, another thing we can think of with yoga is the root chakra. So root chakra is base of the spine. And when we kind of work with that energy, it's just helping us ground and connect to the earth. Okay, let's try the other side. So the right arm is going to slide under the left, and you're either going to grab a pillow or put your head on your hand. Oh, sorry, slide the knee out to the side. I forgot to mention that. And then maybe take the wrap. Maybe start to roll your chest open. staying there, and maybe straightening that top leg. So just doing whichever version feels best for you. We're getting kind of an opening into the chest, into the shoulder, but also a little bit into our hip joints. Let's take a couple more breaths here. One more. That shoulder drop. And then when you're ready, go ahead and slowly and carefully slide back to the center. And we're back in our Sphinx posture. Good. And then we're going to release and come back up into tabletop. So hopefully your knees have a little bit of a break now from our tabletop. We're going to step the right leg out to the side if that feels okay for you. We're going to do a version of thread the needle, but if the leg out to the side feels too unstable, you can certainly bring it back in. So right leg out to the side, and then left arm inhales out to the side and thread it through, just like we did in the last pose. Now you might need a pillow under your head, so grab that if you need it. And if the leg out feels really kind of unsafe, I want you to bring it back in. Okay, so now options, we can leave the right hand on the ground. That might feel a little safer. We might start to push into that hand and start to roll your chest a little more open and let your left shin kind of slide a little bit toward the right. And that's a counterbalance. If you feel pretty safe, you might want to wrap your arm around your back, just like we did in the last pose. But if this is hard on your neck or your back, you're going to ease out and do like the leg back in. And let's hold here for 2 more breaths. Nice slow breath. Take the breath into the belly and the lower back. After your second breath, take your time, release your arm if you have the wrap, and carefully press yourself back and step that foot in. Good, let's try the other side. Step the left leg out if you're doing the leg out. Right arm inhales up and thread it through. Again, pillow for the head if you need it. Optional wrap. And then staying here, taking that breath nice and low. Slow, smooth, even breaths. Let's take 2 more cycles. After the second cycle, carefully release and bring yourself back to the center. And then from tabletop, we're going to inhale here. And as you exhale, push back into a child's pose. Soften your elbows. Let your head come to the floor if it can. If not, just go part way because we're just going to repeat. So we're going to inhale, come forward, slight lift of the chest and the head. And then exhale, press back into our child's pose. And now we're going to repeat that about a few more cycles, and we're going to start counting out the breath. So inhale, we're just going to come forward. As you exhale next time, see if you can count to 5. So inhale and then exhale, make it slowly going back. Squeeze your belly as you come back. And then when you're ready, inhale forward. Then see if you can go for a 6 count exhale. And we're going to build it as far as you can to 7 or 8. So go ahead and take a few more cycles and see if you can keep lengthening out that exhale. And that starts to slow things down in our nervous system, creating that sense of feeling, sense of calm and safety. One more time. And then again, hold your child's pose. Very nice. All right, we're going to add in a down dog to that mix. So inhale up, tabletop pose, slight lift of your chest. Exhale, lift your hips, lift your knees, down dog. Knees down, inhale, look forward. Exhale, a long exhalation back to your child's pose. Squeeze your belly. And then inhale, come forward, look up slightly. Exhale, down dog. And then repeat through those few poses. Knees down, inhale, exhale, child's. So let's go through those a few more times. And the repetition itself is nourishing, calming for the nervous system. So let's do one more cycle just like that. And then we're all going to meet in tabletop pose. So give everyone a moment to catch up there, meet in tabletop pose. And we're going to go through some lunges. So if you need your blocks, you can bring those in. But we're just going to step your right foot forward into a lunge and bring your hands up onto your thigh. Okay, so rooting down into your legs and feet, tone your belly. Draw your shoulders back, lift your chest. And then as you inhale, we're going to reach the arms up and let your knees slide forward into a deeper lunge. And then as you exhale, we're going to let the arms come down and let the hips move back. And then repeat that. Inhale, arms up, slide deeper. Exhale, slide back, arms down. Good, 2 more rounds. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more time. Inhale up. Stay up this time. Hips drop toward the ground, but keep reaching your arms up. Lift out of your lower belly so we don't compress the back. And we're going to press through that front foot. And then release, hands down. Step back to your tabletop pose. And other side. Left foot forward, bring your hands up onto your thigh. Good. First, get grounded, creating that sense of safety. Root into your feet, hug into the middle. And then as you inhale, hips slide forward, arms reach. Exhale, float the arms back. Good. Keep that going. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more rounds. And last one. Hold it this time. Press into the feet, lift out of the lower back and the lower belly, reach the arms up. And as you exhale, release. Arms down, step back, tabletop pose. And now we're going to do a little bit of a standing sequence. So let's go ahead and take the blanket off if you have one. And then put those blocks at the top of the mat if they're not there. And then we're going to come into downward facing dog. Once you're in your dog, step your feet apart as wide as your mat. Bend your knees a lot and start to walk your hands toward your feet. With the knees bent a lot and feet wide, come into a forward fold. So forward folds themselves can feel really protective, very nourishing, but it can be hard on our hamstrings and our lower back. So we want to make sure we have a nice bend in the knees. And as you bend your knees, you'll feel your spine be able to release a bit more. Tuck your chin slightly, and then you'll even feel the back of the neck long. Find weight in your heels. And then ever so slightly tip your sit bones up, even without straightening your legs. And as you tip your sit bones up, you might feel a little bit more length through your spine. Now from here, inhale, halfway lift, hands up on your thighs, and then slowly press into your feet to come up to stand. Good. And then we're gonna stand in mountain pose for a moment. Once we're there, let's just roll the shoulders out a little bit. So a little more joint work. And then go the other way. Good, and then separate your feet a little bit, bend your knees and bring your hands onto your knees. And then we're gonna circle the knees around. So getting some movement into the knee joints, and then reverse, go the other way. Good, and then coming up, bring your hands onto your hips, same thing, circle around. And then reverse, go the other way. Good, coming up to stand, reach your arms up. And as you exhale, soft bend in your knees, we're gonna flow over to the right, make a big circle with your body and come up to stand. And then go ahead and do that 2 more cycles, going slowly. And then we're gonna reverse, go the other way. So 3 times in each direction. And the next time you come up to center, stay there, reach the arms up, step the feet back to about hips distance, and then exhale, fold forward over your legs. Take your time. Inhale, halfway lift. Make sure your chin doesn't jut forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. And exhale, release arms down. Again, let's do that again. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, arms at your side. One more time. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. And inhale, reach the arms out and up. And exhale, arms down at your side. Very good. Okay, so now we're gonna step to the back of the mat. We'll do some warriors. So step your right foot forward, spin your back heel down. We're gonna come into warrior 1 position, bending into your front knee. And then hands on hips, square your chest forward, lift into your lower belly. And then see if you can bend any amount deeper into the front knee, keeping that back leg as straight as you can. And then hands to the heart center. Pause here, press the palms, open the chest. And then as you inhale, we're gonna reach the arms up. And as you exhale, we're gonna straighten the front leg and float the arms down. It's almost like we did in that lunge. Inhale, arms up, bend. Exhale, straighten. Good, do that 2 more rounds. Inhale, just let it be nice and kind of flowy and soft. 1 more time. Good, now keep our front leg straight and we're gonna step that back foot in a little bit and straighten both legs. Hug your outer hips in. And then on your inhale, reach your arms out to the sides and overhead. We're gonna interlace the palms, press the palms up, and find as much length out of that lower back as we can. Make sure your front big toe is pressing down toward the ground and you're not rolling to the outer edge. You could even squeegee that front foot toward the pinky toe to get the outer hip to engage. And then lower your hands back to your hips without losing your length. Slight bend in your front knee. Take an inhale as you exhale, hinge at your hip creases and bring your hands down to your blocks. Put them in line with your front foot and under your shoulders. Good. Okay, from here, first root down into both feet. Hug the outer hips in. Squeegee that front foot a bit. And you'll notice that helps kind of give you more stability. So it helps engage the outer leg here. It helps hug to the midline. All of those things help create more sense of safety. All right, now inhale, come up as high as you can onto your arms. Lift your chest, but don't lift your chin. Keep the crown of the head reaching forward. And then as you exhale, it's up to you. You could stay there or fold over that front leg. So coming into another forward fold. You might lower your blocks. You might put your hands on the floor. This depends on your body proportions and your hamstring flexibility here. And then let the chin tuck and let the head descend if you have come into the fold. Once you're there, press into your feet. Hug your hips in. Squeegee that front foot. Holding here another breath or two. And the more you anchor into the legs, the more the spine feels safe to lengthen. All right, slowly come back up onto your blocks. And we're going to bend into that front knee a little bit and step it forward and fold over your legs. As you inhale, we're going to reach those arms out and up. And then exhale, release arms down at your side. Okay, let's try that on the other side. So we'll step to the back of the mat, preparing for our warrior one. Step the left foot forward, spin the back heel down, and then we're going to bend into that knee. Starting just with hands on hips here, just to kind of get the legs situated. Want the back leg straight and root the heel back. Lift the front of the belly and then maybe bend a little deeper into this knee. Okay, on the inhale, the arms are going to reach up. And as you exhale, we're going to straighten the leg, lower the arms. Good. Inhale, reach up, nice and soft. I almost kind of think of these movements as like a qigong. Like if you've ever done qigong or tai chi, just like really flowy and soft. Good. Inhale up. And on the next round, we're going to hold it there. Arms reach. Bring the hands to the hips and we're going to step that back foot in, preparing for our pyramid pose. So just your feet so you feel stable. And then we're going to reach the arms up, interlace the palms and press the palms up. Now staying there, really lift out of the lower back, squeegee the front foot, get as much length as you can, and then hands to the hips. If you cannot drop your spine as you bring your hands to your hips. Good. Little bend in the knee, inhale, exhale, hinge at your hips. Try not to break the length of the spine, and then hands onto the blocks. So we pause in the halfway up shape so that we can reground. Press into your feet, hug the hips in, squeegee the front foot. From there, inhale, reach the chest long and kind of send your inner thighs back. It'll help lengthen your spine. You can stay there or then come into the forward fold over that front leg. Then you could lower your blocks or you could bring your hands to the floor. Depends on your body here. Once you land in that forward fold, do all those things again. Feet root, inner thighs, squeegee the front foot. And then from that place of the legs being really grounded, can your spine let go a little more? Tuck your chin if you're in the fold to let your head lengthen. You can do that in the halfway up shape too. One more breath. And then from here, we're going to slowly start to come back up onto the blocks. Bend into your front knee. and step it forward. This time, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, reach the arms all the way out and up. And exhale, release, arms down at your side. Good. And then we're going to step out wide onto the mat. We're going to have the feet parallel to each other initially here, bringing a slight bend into your knees. And then we're going to hinge forward at the hip creases and bring your hands onto the ground. Now, if you can't easily reach the ground here, just pull in your blocks. But the knees are going to be bent enough that hopefully we can get those hands down. And then we're going to turn the right toes out a little bit and just lunge a little bit to the right and sweep your hands toward that right foot. And then you're going to sweep your hands across to the left foot. And you're just making a gentle sway along the ground, lunging right and left. And you don't have to go as far as I am. You can just bend a little bit. If this is too much, you can just stay in the center and, maybe be up on your blocks. And then we're going to make our way back through the center. Hands under shoulders, parallel your feet again. Come up on your fingertips. Inhale, lift your chest. Bend your knees. And as you exhale, fold forward if you like. And then you can hold big toes, your ankles, or have your hands on the ground. Let your head release. Bend your elbows toward the side if you're in the forward fold. You can always keep those knees a little bent. And with the knees a little bent, tip your sit bones upward. Let your head reach downward. Holding here, another breath. And then we're going to walk the hands out underneath the shoulders and heel toe the feet back into center. Bend your knees, bring your hands to your hips, and we'll come on up to stand. Okay, so that was it for our standing sequence. We're going to come to sit now. So grab anything you want to sit on. Hold it blanket. We're just going to do a couple things seated, and then we're going to get into the restorative posture. All right, so Sukhasana, just crossing your shins, widening out your sit bones, and sitting up tall. Okay, inhale, reach the arms up, just like we've been doing. Interlace and press up. We want to create as much length before we forward fold. So press the palms up, root your sit bones down, and then we're going to release the hands down onto the ground in front of us. Inhale, let your chest lift a little bit. And if you have a little bit more that you'd like, you can walk it out and fold forward a little bit more. A couple of options here. First, you might want like a little sway side to side, like we did with that last pose. That might feel nice on the hips. And then eventually we're going to come into stillness, and you might want to have like a set of blocks in front of you to put your forehead on. Now, some of us don't get far enough to the ground to make that work. You can stack the blocks up higher if that would be helpful, or just let your head just kind of release. Okay. So we're going to stay here for about a minute. So see if you can just really settle into your breath. And whatever the pose looks like for you is perfect. So don't feel like you have to push it or go farther. Stay in that realm of feeling safe in your body. So here's another little story of the Buddha. So my teacher told this in my training. So in the Buddhist tradition, also in the Hindu tradition, this is a story that is well known, but there was they're called Nagas. So the Nagas are like snakes or even dragons, I should have told this last week, dragons that have a snake body. So it's like a dragon head, and you'll see them on a lot of the temples in these traditions. And these Nagas are said to protect the teachings. So they are outside the temple. They create the sense of like protecting the sacred. But in the story, there was a great flood, and the Nagas wanted to protect the Buddha. So it coiled its body up to make a pedestal. And you can see this in some of the statues of Buddha. And then Buddha sat on top of that coil to lift him off the ground. And then the hood of the snake, like a big cobra, came over top of the Buddha's head like an umbrella. And it kept the Buddha safe from the storm. And I thought that was just such kind of a beautiful image that we can imagine. Like sometimes snakes aren't what we think of as safety, but in these stories they are. But maybe you could think of like angel wings or a circle of light around you, something that feels protective. Let's take one more breath on this side, and we're going to repeat with the legs crossed the other way. So when you're ready, slowly, slowly walk it up. I know it's sometimes challenging to hold those poses longer, but it really gets deep into the fascia of the hips and the back. We're going to just switch the legs so that the opposite leg is in the front. Widen out your sit bones again, because that helps them help you tip forward. Inhale, reach the arms up when you are ready. Interlace the palms, press the palms up, get out of that lower back. And then we're going to release, hands to the ground. Good. And then we're just going to do kind of that gentle rocking side to side if it feels good. You don't even really have to move your hands. It's more like your side body swaying. It gets into that kind of low back muscles that attach to the back of our pelvis. And then when you're ready, finding your stillness. So using your blocks if the blocks are helpful. Otherwise, you can skip it. And then we'll stay for about a minute here. So how do we know if there's been like a rupture in our protective field? There's a couple of symptoms that you might feel if your energy field is unprotected. We're very irritable, or we lose our temper a lot. We feel drained. We might have very frightening dreams, nightmares. We're threatened and defensive all the time. We're very easily influenced by everyone else. So we're not relying on our own internal wisdom. We're always just like looking for other people to help us feel secure and safe in our decisions. We feel others' emotional pain a lot. So those empathic tendencies. So when we're very empathic, it's like that shield is not always effective, right? We're just feeling the pain of the world or other people around you. And we also, on a physical level, might be feeling a lot of pain, or we might catch all the colds that come around. So we'll take a couple more breaths here, just visualizing that protection around us. All right, go ahead and slowly, slowly take your time coming up. And then we're just going to lean back and straighten the legs for a moment. Just maybe bounce them out, roll them out, shake them out. Good. Okay, so we're going to do a restorative twist, and we're going to take a few minutes on each side, and then it'll be pretty much time for Shavasana. So you're going to grab your bolster or your 2 pillows, because we kind of prepped for this with all the twisting that we did in our thread the needle poses. So we're going to put the bolster near the top of your mat. Some people like a block under it, so you elevate it. If you know you have a preference, you can do that for restorative twist. I'll leave it there and I'll show that. And then grab a blanket or a pillow or something that you could put between your knees. So I just took the yoga blanket and folded it like kind of narrow. And we're going to just kind of stick it in between your knees, your shins, and your feet. And that way your bones don't kind of press into each other. I'm sitting with my left hip kind of near the bolster, right in the center. Most of you have done this with me before, but it's been a while. Okay, so with my left hip, I've got my right knees with the cushion in between. And then your left palm is going to be your support for a moment. Just waiting for everyone to get here. Take your time. Okay, and then the right arm is going to be your lengthener. So left arm on the ground, right arm is going to lengthen so that you turn your torso toward the bolster, and then head turns towards your knees. And if you have the elevation, you can hug your bolster and kind of get into a little fetal position on your side. And if you don't have the elevation, you can just let your arms rest at your side. And then we're going to stay there for about maybe 3-4 minutes, and then we're going to switch sides. So we'll hold this one a little longer. In pajama yoga, we hold it even longer when we do some of these restorative things. But in an hour-long class, we don't have as much time. But we'll take a few minutes so that we can really let the body release into the props and soften. Just have a sense of really dropping in, letting go, feeling safe. So a couple more things as you hold this. I'm talking about the Wei Qi again. So that's the protective kind of shield that's recognized in Chinese medicine. So it says that the constriction of the blood vessels is one of the first signs of a challenge to your natural defense mechanism, your Wei Qi. So constriction of blood vessels, if I'm not mistaken, would be like a high blood pressure kind of situation. And it says this can happen if you become too cold, too stressed, or face any symptoms that can lead to illness. And then our blood doesn't flow freely through our bodies when our blood vessels are constricted. And that can magnify our aches and pains, dampen our spirits, and intensify fatigue. So TCM teaches our best remedy is to restore our blood flow. One of the sayings that has been passed down for thousands of years, where blood flows, energy goes, and that's where our qi goes. So when we do our practice, that of course helps release that constriction of our blood vessels and helps energy flow better through our bodies. So one more moment here. Let's take about 3 more breaths. And after your 3rd breath, I'm just going to slide your hands back under your shoulders and come up slowly and switch sides. So take your time. You're going to then put your right hip to the bolster and put your cushion between your knees. And then your right arm is going to be your support. Left arm is going to reach up and lengthen your body over the prop. Your head can turn toward your knees, so it's a little more gentle on your neck. And option to hug your bolster or let the arms be at your side. You can always, throw a cover over you if you get cold. Let yourself feel safe and calm and supported in this restorative twist. And then we'll be here for a couple of minutes. The breath starts to feel nice and soft and slow. The nice thing about doing a restorative posture, like kind of right before our Shavasana, is that we have a longer period of time in stillness. And the longer we spend in these kind of safe, still, relaxed, calm poses, the deeper our relaxation response can be by the time we get to our Shavasana. So enjoy this time to settle in and rest. We're going to do one more minute here. Continue to relax. All right, everyone, we're going to slowly start to slide those hands back under your shoulders and carefully come up. We're going to use the same setup for Shavasana. So, but we're going to just do a little bit, flip it over onto our back. So you might want a pillow at the top for your head. And then if you still have like those two blankets, you're going to take those and kind of roll them up from the long edge. So you have two long logs. And then we're going to come into reclined bound angle. So soles of the feet together and the knees drop open onto those pillows or blankets, whatever you have. If you still have another blanket available or some weight, something, you could put something across your body, and that weight or that blanket will help also give a sense of calm and safety. When you come down, kind of scoot your tailbone out from under you and then lengthen your spine back. Make sure the pillow is not under your shoulders, just your head. And then we'll come into Supta Baddha Konasana for Shavasana. And if you don't like Supta Baddha Konasana with knees bent, you can certainly take your legs out straight and just put your support under both backs of your knees. So you have an option there. So go ahead and settle in. I'm going to be coming up, but you guys stay in the pose. And again, feeling a sense of releasing into those props. And surrendering all your efforts. Take a scan through your body and notice if you are feeling like you're holding yourself away from the ground. And just let everything release into the ground. And you might try that a few times, because I always find that even when I think I'm just really relaxed, there's still a little bit more that I could maybe soften or release. Start to feel really soft in the belly. So there are areas of the body that we tend to armor when we don't feel safe. And of course, our belly is one of the areas that we might tense up. So soft breath into the belly. Soften the area of your diaphragm. So it's another area that can get tight and tense when we are stressed. So I love the image of imagining the diaphragm like soft rose petal edges. Just really relax the diaphragm. And then another area we might kind of armor up is our heart. So let the heart feel protected and soft and safe. And then we might get really intense in our eyes and our forehead when we're under a lot of stress and strain. So let the eyes relax, let the forehead be soft. And starting from the outside in, let the eye muscles relax. All the little muscles of expression around your eyes, let them melt. Especially the outer corners of your eyes, let those corners melt toward the temples. Let the temples feel like they're widening. Widening across the forehead. Soften right between the brow. Imagine you could just smooth out any tension in your forehead. And then let the eyes themselves be really soft, like gel, and very still. Stilling the eyes can also send that signal to the body that we're safe. So connection there with our vagus nerve. So when the eyes are darting around, our nervous system's thinking we're looking for danger. So let the eyes be so soft and relaxed, knowing that you are free from harm in this moment. And then visualizing around your body that sense of protection. Maybe you're visualizing a white light. That's often used metaphorically for protection or the aura around us, force field, however you want to think of it, or your Wei Qi. And rest in that sense of safety. Okay, so we're going to start to come out. Time is coming to an end. So we might first straighten those legs a bit and maybe wiggle out the toes, circle the ankles around. Just let the legs come back to neutral. And if you want to do like a stretch or move around through your arms, might not be good to hug knees here up on the pillow, but you can always come off if you feel like you need a knee hug, and then eventually come over to your side for your pause. And we'll just hang on the side for a breath or two before coming up to a comfortable seat. Using your arm strength. Try not to use your back muscles too much. And then we'll sit up tall. If you want to sit on a prop, let your hands rest down on your legs and either close the eyes or focus on a soft focal point. And come back to your breathing. And as we close, I'm going to share a little poem with you guys, a little reading. This is called Complete Trust by Sophia Faria. Could we soften? Could we surrender? Could we say what we find edgy out loud? Could we have safe enough spaces to keep exploring, to heal, to grow, to learn about our true purpose, our beauty, our gifts, our power? If we had trust in one another, could we share more? If we had trust in one another, could we know we are always held and that our voice matters too? Could our bodies be softer? Could our tensions be eased? Could we see the solutions we need in our personal and collective life and share them freely without fear? If we had complete trust in one another, how would we walk in the world? Let's go ahead, bring our hands together in front of the heart space. Have a nice inhalation, lifting your heart, and exhale, bow your head down. And thank you so much, everyone. Namaste. Feel free to unmute, guys, when you're ready. I just wanted to check in and see if anyone has any questions, because next week I start at the Emmaus location, and I know some of you have expressed interest in it. I know Patty and Tracy have already done the registration process. It's a bit weird because they have other services there, so they do make you fill out some extra forms and stuff. But I think you only have to do that one time. But I'll be there Monday morning. We're going to do like a somatic flow, and that class is going to be like a nice somatic warm up, maybe longer than what we might normally do. And then the second half is going to be like our nice slow flow. So it'll be a more relaxing class. And then the Wednesday is going to be a little bit more like the Saturday. So it'll be a little more active, a little more challenging there. And then Thursday is the Baransu and Freemansburg. Actually only took me 20 minutes to get there in the morning. So it wasn't too bad from Coopers, those of you who are in Coopersburg. Some of you I know might be even closer. But that's first class is, again, a little more active. Second class is like pretty much like all somatic with a little gentle yoga thrown in. So just letting you guys know in case you're looking for more yoga. Any questions about that?
Okay. I tried filling out the forms and my insurance wasn't in the drop down and it wouldn't let me key in things. So will they tag me and make me fill out something there, I guess?
I have no idea. I don't know why we need to have insurance to do the yoga. It's just kind of ridiculous.
We absolutely, positively should not have that there.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to her because that's, yeah, no.
And my appointment was confirmed, so I'm not worried about it. And they've taken my money, so that's all good. So it may be one of those things we don't have to do.
I did get your confirmation, Tracy, so you're good. I'll mention it to her. I've been trying to work with her because she's not like a yoga teacher or anything. So I think she's not like aware of how things should work as far as yoga goes. But I just don't think we need to do that and get insurance from people. So
that's actually against the law. So she should not require that of people.
Okay. Is there anything you can like, do you know how I could like show her that it's against the law?
Tell her it's against HIPAA regulations for somebody who she's not billing.
Right.
That's against HIPAA.
Okay.
And I would think that she'd only need it if the insurance was paying for it, or if it was a silver sneakers type of thing.
Yeah,
If we're paying
exactly.
for it personally, it shouldn't be necessary.
Yeah, so I think it's just because they have other services like counseling and stuff there, but they need to separate those things.
She needs to break them apart.
Yeah.
Because that's absolutely a HIPAA
Okay.
violation.
And also, I just think it's going to be off-putting for people. So, yeah. All right. I'll see what I can do, guys. Sorry about that.
Very good. All right. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yep. Take care, guys. Happy
Bye.
Mother's Day, everybody.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's
you.
Day.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.